You might want to think about getting one of these degrees because these are some of the least regretted college majors. Hey everybody, my name is Hisham Khan and welcome to Income Over Outcome, where I give you college and personal finance tips. The last thing you want to do is spend tens of thousands of dollars on a degree only to regret it because there's not enough job prospects, you're not happy with your job, or because you don't even get paid enough to make ends meet. A lot of you requested this video after I made one on the most regretted college majors. And that video shocked a lot of people because those were some really common majors that had an insanely high amount of people regretting them. Today's video is going to switch it up. People who choose these majors are generally happy with their choices and they have less than a 20% regret rate. And that's really good. All of my numbers are based on a study done by ZipRecruiter on over 5,000 people. And I'll link the whole entire study in the description if you want to check it out. After you watch this whole video, comment if any of these degrees surprised you or if you just expected all of them to be here. I'm always curious to see what you guys are thinking. Coming in 6th is health sciences, which allows you to go into basically any medical field. Some common jobs are things like being a PA, physical therapist, and it's also a great pre-med major. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of the health sciences because to get most of these jobs, you need another degree after your bachelor's. It is possible to get a good job right out of college, but it's definitely harder than, let's say, a health information management major. Other than that, health sciences is a great degree. The median salary is $70,000 and job growth is super high at 14%. For context, the average job growth across the country is just 3%. But that's not surprising to me at all because healthcare jobs tend to be the fastest growing. If you go into healthcare, you're almost always going to have a job. That's why I went into the industry. I mean, think about it. The population is only getting older and older people need more medical care. So of course the industry is going to be booming. Overall, just 19% of the people who go into health sciences regret it, and the main reason is because of low job satisfaction. Now honestly, that caught me off guard because most of the people who work in healthcare really enjoy their jobs because they're having a huge impact on people's lives. But I think this might be because a lot of the people who go into health sciences don't necessarily become doctors or nurses. Instead, they go into other allied health fields, so although they're doing really important work, they probably aren't recognized and appreciated as much. That's just an educated guess though. Next are community, family, personal services majors. That's a mouthful to say. This is one of the more uncommon choices out there, but it basically combines things like biology and psychology to learn about relationships and family dynamics. So it sets you up to get a job in a lot of the human services like child welfare, social work, and even mental health. The reason it's one of the least regretted college majors is because of the high job satisfaction, but the 19% of people who do regret it say it's because of low pay and because getting a license to practice can be pretty tough. Demand for the field is actually really high at 17%, so as long as you're okay with not making bank, this is a great degree to get. Holding the 4th spot is healthcare administration and any major that has to do with the business side of healthcare. Now if you keep up with my channel, this shouldn't surprise you at all because I have a whole bunch of videos talking about how great majors like healthcare administration and health information management are. If you don't keep up with my channel, then you're missing out and you need to hit that notification bell. I myself majored in health information management, and that was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made. I learned practical skills that prepared me for a bunch of different careers, and my major allows me to make a decent amount of money. The field is also growing like crazy at 32% because as healthcare gets bigger, people who are experts in the business side of healthcare are super important. 18% of the people who major in healthcare administration regret it, and the main reason is because of low job satisfaction. And I could totally see that. It depends on where exactly you work. I have a job where I get to travel and solve a bunch of different types of problems, so my job doesn't really get old. If you can't tell by now, I'm a bit biased for healthcare administration. I plan on making a lot more videos talking about what exactly I do, but here's one of my old videos where I talk a little bit about it. I'll also link all my videos on healthcare administration in the description and it might help you out. But if you work at a hospital, it's more like your typical 9 to 5 and you're doing all this behind the scenes work that no one really knows about. So I could see how that could lead to some people not being satisfied. But I don't think you should let that stop you from going to the field because after all, 82% of people don't regret it. In 3rd place, we have engineering, one of the most classic and practical things you could major in if you want a job right out of college. Now, to just say engineering is kind of general because not all engineering degrees are equal. It's way easier to get jobs with some of them, and some pay way more than others. So it's really important you understand the difference between each engineering discipline. Everyone I know who graduated with an engineering degree was really satisfied with their decision, but that's because they actually enjoyed what they were learning, and most of them got jobs not too long after they graduated. What's great is that some engineering majors, like mechanical, are really versatile, so you have a lot of job options. If you want to become an engineer and you haven't seen this video, you should definitely check it out because I took some of the most common engineering majors and ranked them to help you figure out which one might be best for you. Only 16% of the people who majored in engineering regretted it, and the number one reason was that the best jobs require advanced degrees. And that's totally true, but I don't think it's a huge downside because you can get some decent jobs right out of college. It's not uncommon for most engineering majors to make around $60,000 or $70,000 right after undergrad. And if you want to go back to school to get paid more later on in your career, then you can totally do that. A lot of those high-paying roles are also in leadership positions, so depending on the company you work at, if you have a double major in business and can show strong leadership roles, you might be able to get those high-paying positions without an advanced degree. Speaking of business, that's the second major on today's list, and it ties with engineering, with 16% of people regretting it, mainly because it's too general. I'm guessing the people who said that chose a really broad business major like business administration. But if you saw my video where I ranked business degrees, then you know I'm not a huge fan of general business degrees because they don't give you skills to help you stand out from everybody else. Even then, you can still get some great jobs with a general business degree. It's just harder. If you choose a more specific degree like accounting or finance, you'll be much better positioned to get a solid job right after you graduate. Business degrees tend to get you some of the highest paying jobs out there, and being an expert in business and operations will always be a valuable skill since you can help out people across a bunch of different industries. It's also a great major for people like me who aren't technically minded and don't want to do something like engineering, but still want something that has an impact and pays well. With that said, just 16% of people regretting a major is fairly low, so you can never really go wrong with a business degree. And finally, the least regretted college majors are computer science and math, which shouldn't surprise you at all because I talk about those literally all of the time. Just 13% of the people who got these majors regret it, saying that the jobs could be too stressful. But I have a hunch the people who said that weren't truly interested in their work and instead wanted a paycheck. But of course, if you don't like what you're doing, you're going to be stressed. It also might depend on where exactly you work, but generally, computer science is one of the most chill jobs you could get. You typically have some great work-life balance, you get paid a lot of money, and demand is growing like crazy. So if you're technically minded, computer science and math are some great options. I've already made videos on literally every single one of these degrees because they're all such great options. If you want more details, I'll put 2 of them right here and I'll link the rest in the description. If you're not subscribed, then click right here to do so, and I'll see you in my next video. But until then, take care.